So we get to review. Any other news, boys, you want to touch on?
Not from me.
No? Let's get into the first game then. So the season kicked off 28-6. Penrith beating the Seagulls in a very, very impressive display. Most people have said it's the performance of the weekend. What did the stats say, Barn?
Yeah, it was 5 tries to 1. 3 out of 5 conversions for Penrith, 1 out of 1 for Manly. We had one penalty for both teams. 1 out of 1 penalty goals for Penrith. 86% completion, played 82%. 39 out of 45 sets, played 29 out of 35. 302 post-contact metres plus and 700 plus run metres for the Penrith side. 6 line breaks to 1. 44 tackle busts to 26. 12 offloads to 6. 1 forced dropout to 2. The only thing Manly won pretty much the entire night, I think. Oh, and the tackle count with 384 tackles compared to Penrith's 337. 2 ruck infringements from Penrith, 5 by Manly. 0 inside the 10 to Penrith and 2 to Manly. 7 penalties conceded to 4. 4 errors to 8. Isaiah Yeo with 38 tackles. Jake with 56 tackles. Edwards with 344 running metres. And Tommy Turbo with 157 running metres.
Gump, you can open a batting on this.
Well, there's 2 things I want to say before I start. I said I didn't know Penrith could go back-to-back because they couldn't play that style for a 3rd year. Well, if that's any indication, they can play it. It was just, again, death by 1,000 cuts. Cleary didn't play. They put a kid in there that it's his best first-grade game he's ever played, Sean O'Sullivan, kicked to corners. And the line speed of Penrith is just amazing.
Yeah.
For the whole 80 minutes, and every player on the team for Penrith whacks in defence. They all tackle hard. They all run hard. And the second thing is that I'm convinced that I've never seen a side that's been relying on one player than Manly. If Turbo is stopped or nullified, then they've got not much else. I know Barney said that he was concerned about their outside backs. They've got big concerns with their outside backs, with the centres and the wingers. Look, I don't like putting shit on blokes. Jason Saab actually looks scared when he's going into contact.
He doesn't. Yeah, so he did last year. He doesn't like being tackled at all.
So he's giving nothing for them as running out of their own
and
20 or anything.
All night.
And they kick to him
consistently.
All night. So look, it's transmission normal, and I texted a few people and said after 20 minutes it was back to normal transmission for Penrith. They'll be very hard to beat. Like, if they can play at that level for the season, then they'll be very, very hard to beat. I know we get to our Daggy M later in the year, but there wasn't a better player in the comp than Isaiah Yeo. He was unbelievable for Penrith. He's just 3 years ago, Isaiah Yeo was just a player in the comp. Now you'd have to put him in one of the top 5 for the most influential players in the
just
competition.
When he started taking control of that game, that you just see the top, like it was pretty close for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just when he started really hitting the line and putting people in the right spot, some of those players were just the timing was when he knows when to run, he knows when not to, and bends the line every time for a bloke that doesn't look that scary. Let's be honest, compared to some of his mates.
Even when he backs into the line, he's pushing blokes off.
He was. I thought he was amazing on the weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, he'd be getting my 3 Daggy M's after at the end of this. A couple of stats I missed. The top missed tackles was Crichton, made 11, missed 4, and Ola Katau he missed 6 out of his 28 tackles that he made. And top Supercoach scorers were Appy on 91 points, Kickout with 87. Then you had 6 other Penrith players before you get down to Ethan Bullymore on 62 points.
Yeah, God bless that try.
First draft picks for draft teams with Tommy Turbo. They'd probably be regretting their first draft pick. But they're flat track bullies.
They'll get their points.
And he'll get 120 when they play the Bulldogs and the Cowboys and the Tigers, and that he'll get that this week.
It's going to be a very interesting live lesson we're going to learn, because we're in a draft with no captain. Just what actual, when you're not doubling his points, all of a sudden, how valuable is he compared to a full roster? I know it doesn't help Classic where you've got to pay for him for the double points, but Cal, quickly, any thoughts from you before I go to Barn? And
just how good with Penrith. I thought Sean O'Sullivan was just excellent. Like his kicking, the tactics of Jason Saab, they got it all right, to be honest. The forward pack, the outside, it was a complete performance. And Manly, they just had nothing really. Like people said, they just rely on Tommy too much, and it's just there's no other creative spark. Their centres are Parker and Harper are just terrible. That Cooler, I don't know if he's ready yet, but he should probably be playing a bit of strike.
We won't see him for a while now. Walker's back, and I think they just wanted to give a hype player a run. And the other reason is I don't think they've got any other talent.
No, yeah.
They fall away real quick.
Yeah.
When you take out even the players they've lost. Beyond that, you're looking at you're going to Blacktown players quite quickly. You may have the floor now, David.
Oh, mate, we couldn't have asked for a better start of the season, realistically. That first 15 minutes, when Manly was still in the game, was ridiculously good. The thing that I just loved was these massive forwards just screaming into each other. Both teams had good speed in defence to start the game, but these big boys were running over the top of each other, through the line, passing before the line. It was a ridiculously good start to the year. I was just sitting there stunned, to be honest, for the first 15, 20 minutes. And then Manly just fell away quite dramatically, and Penrith just kept going. And they did not stop for 80 minutes. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that sat there after that 80 minutes and went, holy shit, Penrith's come back just as good as they left off last year. Probably better. They played better than what they played in the finals at the end of last year.
There's two players I thought, they were okay last year, at times brilliant in Crichton, but I thought Stephen Crichton was tremendous.
Yeah, he was.
Really outstanding.
How good's he?
And I thought Appy had his best game, I reckon, since early last year. I thought
Appy was brilliant.
everything he did was right. He was just on song. And back in the last year, I know he had injuries and whatever, and he had a bit of drama going on. But if he plays at that all year, they are even more dangerous than last year.
Well, Barney's right. They hadn't played that well since Origin last year.
Yeah.
They played well enough to win the comp, but they didn't play at that level since Origin last year.
Well, we mentioned the two disallowed tries. Obviously, the first one, the rule's pretty cut and dry. You could have given them the try, really, because I don't think it affected the defensive line that much. But the rules are cut and dry, so that's fair enough. I can't agree with that second call at all. Luai was going nowhere. Tuo actually stepped back inside him and ran the same angle that Tommy was running, and Tommy couldn't stop him. So, I should have thought that should have been a try, but...
Well, he beat 5 blokes.
Yeah.
How's that an obstruction if you beat 5 blokes? After you've done it.
And this is a problem with these sort of slowdown things. They only pick out one play of a 2-minute sequence.
Yeah.
There were 4 other blokes that could have tackled him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manly's middle got pretty tired after 20 minutes, and they tried to sort of compress their defence to stop Penrith's roll through the middle. And then, as you mentioned, Yo got involved, and they started getting some good crisp ball out to the centres, and they had a field day. Young Targo and Crichton were just running around blokes and throwing flick passes. And
they didn't have a bad player. Kick-out was really, really good.
Martin was good too.
They were all...
Liam Martin was fantastic. The way he was running that ball in that first half, he was flying. Poor Kieran Foran, he'll have sore shoulders for the rest of the season trying to stop him. And if he keeps doing that all year, he dead set will be in the 17 for New South Wales, or if not just outside it, because that was tremendous what he was doing.
Yeah.
And the second half was just a shutout. Manly were gone. They didn't look like putting up a fight in the second half. And Penrith just sort of even backed off, realistically. They didn't slow down, but they weren't pulling them apart like they were in the first half. So
you actually have to give, even we mentioned earlier with the kicking to Saab all night, they're quite good at, what they do is identify sort of 2 simple tactics and they just hammer it. They go, right, we're going to kick to him all night, and they get it right. And obviously when Cleary's here it helps, but they do it a lot. Whether it's that or whether they... against teams like Para, just get him behind them and turn them around. They know what they're going to do and they stick to it, and it's almost like footy's not a hard game sometimes.
Yeah, the only ones from Manly that really had any impact were probably Bullymore and Jake, and that was only in defence. They were hitting quite well in defence. Bullymore got a sneaky try just before half-time, but nobody else really impacted on me that I thought that they had more than an average game. They're probably all below average, realistically. And Penrith were just supreme.
Yeah, Bullymore's showed he's a genuine starting first grade second row. Beyond that, look, at the end of the day, people were quite critical of DC and Turbo. What do you want him to do? DC's kicking off his 20-metre line for half the game, and what was Turbo supposed to do? But outstanding. Yeah, full credit to Penrith, and easily the performance of the round. Daggy M's, if we've got nothing more to add, will be... 3 points, Yo. It seems like we all agree on that.
Yes.
How are we going after that? I was looking to... the others in the mix, I had Appy, Crichton, Fish, or Sullivan.
I had O'Sullivan for 2 points. 2 try assists, 10 runs, 3 tackle busts, 3 line break assists, and his kicking game was brilliant. I don't think Penrith would have been able to set up the way they did for the majority of the night without his kicking game. It's not as long as Cleary, but it was pretty much as accurate and got them where they needed. So.
Yeah, 100%.
And I had Targo as one. It's like, how's that for the young kid to come in? And he was cracking jokes at different parts of this game, just running over people. 7 tackle busts, a try. 7 tackle busts in 9 runs as well, and made 29 tackles. And he hits hard for a young, he's only a little fella out in the centres.
That's right. He's not a big body.
No. He hits hard.
Gumpy.
But that was my 3-2-1.
The only one I might have thrown in was Dylan Edwards.
Oh, we didn't mention him.
He's run 350 run metres for the game.
Yeah.
And it's unfashionable. Dylan Edwards doesn't play like a typical fullback now, where he chimes into the back line and throws ball and that. But 350 metres is 350 metres.
And was safe.
And, someone else didn't have to run him.
Yeah.
So he'd be the only other one, but I don't have any disagreements with what Barney said for his choices there.
I maybe would have had Crichton for 1 point.
Yes.
But, him and Tago, both good centres, so I mean, they both played well. But
All right, we'll go 3 Yo, 2 to O'Sullivan, and...
it'd be Appy, Crichton or Targo, I would
really
imagine, for the one.
Let's go Crichton. I thought he was pretty good.
yeah,
Why didn't you give the young bloke?
Oh, it's 1 point.
Give it to Crichton.
he'll finish on 1.
All right. I think he'll get more than 1 this year, but
Yeah, I dare say he will get more than 1.
they'll have the biggest problem all year in that they'll be needing to share their points around quite a bit, I suspect.